Hello, my beautiful Scorpio friends, and welcome to your horoscope for March of 2023. Where Scorpio, this month, your ruling planet is not only out of retrograde, Mars, but it's also going to start really moving forward, so picking up some more of its speed, which is really exciting because, you know, when one of the ruling planets is retrograde or has been slowed down, it's kind of like the get up and go doesn't feel as productive. So we'll get a bit of that energy moving forward. As well, your other ruling planet, Pluto, is going to be moving into the energy of Aquarius, giving us a signal that in your domestic sector, over this next handful of years, but certainly focusing in between March and June, there are some changes on the domestic horizon, and we'll talk all about that. But also we've got Saturn moving into the energy of Pisces, so into your creative space, where it can be a mixed bag, right? You know you need pleasure, you know you need joy, play, creativity, sex, all the good stuff, take a risk, but you're like, oh, I'm a little bit tired, like I'm not sure, I have to relook at this, you know? So there's a lot going on this month. It is a significant month, so buckle in with me and we will take a look around. Now, before we jump in, Scorpio, I've got a beautiful thank you gift, just genuinely to say thank you to you. I asked some questions in the community tab of this channel about you, who you are, why you watch my content, what are you looking to learn, and how can I be of service to you? And just for answering those questions, I'm giving you 6 hours of my Astrology 101 digital class for $25. It's in the description box down below. And more than the thank you behind that as well, I want you to have your basics down. As we continue to travel and you learn, whether you want to be an astrologer or you just want to understand how to be prepared for what's coming, I want you to have your basics down. I want you to know what it means when I say, oh, that's a fixed square, don't do this. We're in an earth trine, do this. So I wanted you to have access to be able to really get that under your belt, okay? So that is all in the description box down below, as well as joining my Patreon community, where March 21st, we are starting off a new cycle of content over there, going a lot more deeply into these transits and how they work in your chart. So lots of goods, lots of ways to learn and connect and make change in your life in the description box down below. All right, let's head into the month, my Scorpio friends. So first of all, I do want you to keep in mind that you're not done with the eclipse life, okay? We've still got eclipsing that is going on between Scorpio and Taurus energy. So between who you are, how things have been for 19, 20 years, how your relationships have been, where you've been connected to them. We're not quite done with that cycle yet. We will finish that up this year, but that vibration is still it's still in the air for you. And it's, I think, a pull telling you, Scorpio, like, yes, you're continuing to change, but you're also being released for some of the bondages that have been holding you down. Now you can take steps towards your destiny, towards the relationship that you want, towards your next long-term commitments and things like that. So that's quite exciting to understand that you're still working through that. It's nothing necessarily new. I think you have a much better grasp on this because we did see it throughout 2022, okay? All right, now at the beginning of this month, we have got on the 2nd, first of all, we've got Mercury moving into the energy of Pisces. Now, Neptune is already over in the energy of Pisces. Mercury is no longer in its post-retrograde shadow time energy, so it's moving forward, but it's not going to be moving like Mercury normally moves. Fast, getting the information, give me the details, whips and zips, no whips and zips, okay? So over here, lighting up your 5th house space in Pisces, you don't have that just pure intellectual access to Mercury in this space, but what you have access to is your emotional and your intuitive intelligence. This is where this will fire and serve you the best in this 5th house area. And this is the house of taking a risk, joy, pleasure, play, things going on with your children, the consciousness, that intuitive connection you have to how you express yourself, how you connect to your children, yourself as a child, right? So not your parents and how they influence you, but you as a child to them. So this particular house, all the way until we get to the 19th, it's a little bit foggy, and you have to kind of feel around through the intuitive spaces or that place in between the worlds in order to really get things done. So don't push on Mercury here. You're not going to be able to get it to do like what it does in Virgo or in Gemini, okay? Now, as we get to the 7th, busy day. First of all, we have got a full moon happening at 16 degrees of Virgo. Okay, so the full moon says we need to end something, acknowledge something, or we're going to make an adjustment, a course correction, but all of the light is on. So we can see what we're doing, and we're also kind of aware of emotionally why we're making the changes that we're making. This is going to light up your 11th house space. So this is friends, social groupings, organizations you've been connected to, big places where there's communities, humanity, really like a cause or a vision, but also your long range plans, goals, and designs for yourself. So here in the energy of Virgo, it is about get it together, is it not? It's about get it together. Let's get organized. What is the priority? What needs to be your priority in this area? You know, if your technology is not working, if you don't know how to use certain platforms, you don't know how to use your phone, you need to grow in a social way in the 11th house, or you need to get connected to groupings of people that can help you with that. Or it is a full moon. Is there an organization that you need to get disconnected from in order to actualize your next set of long-range plans, goals, and designs? Whatever that looks like for you, this full moon is helping you prioritize, be discerning, get it in order, and also to work from a place of service in your life. In your daily routine, how is your health? How's your wellness around your friendships, around your long-range goals? Are you taking care of yourself? Do you need to make some long-range health plans or decisions? Do you have your will, your power of attorney, your all of these things, your directives, your advanced directives? Do you have them in place, right? They're very health, daily, mundane things kind of oriented, okay? Now, just an hour later, we're going to see Saturn move into the energy of Pisces. Now, whenever Saturn changes sign, the people, places, and things that are not in alignment with that vibration are going to fall off. But also, as Saturn pulls at first, at least for the first beginning portion of its tour, into a new sign, we can feel the energy kind of whoosh. It feels like it slows just a little bit because Saturn is ready for us to mature. It's going to level us up. Now, to the extent that you are emotionally and you are, financially, your maturity, your spiritual level is even to the extent of your spiritual maturity, wherever that's at for you, can be your experience with Saturn, right? If you have a long way to go and a lot to grow through, it can feel heavy, it can feel limiting or restricting. If you have a little bit more advancement in this particular area, especially in having faith plus trust in what you're doing, right? In this area of your life, around your children, around taking a risk, this joy, this pleasure, this sex, this creativity, these beginning kind of energies, Saturn can feel victorious. If you've been putting in the work here, you can feel like I did it. I met my commitment. I achieved, I brought stability, protection, perfection, and growth to this area of my life, and I have fulfilled my commitment. And because of that, it's like Saturn rewards the mastery, right? It takes you to the next level. So cosmic results are going to vary. I would invite you immediately, Scorpios, no matter where you are in your lesson base, to understand that's where you're at in your lesson base. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just where you need to grow from, okay? As we get to the 16th, we see Venus moving into the energy of Taurus, so right across the street in that 7th house space, along with Uranus. We've got the node over there. It's a big deal over in the 7th house, okay? So as we see Venus move into Taurus, it actually attracts into this area. It can be quite pleasurable. You can be, even in your relationships, romancing. And I want to be clear, the level of Venus magnetism romance doesn't have to be sexual, and it doesn't have to be with a romantic partner. Are you having the most delicious business conversation with a business partner or somebody that you might collaborate with? And I mean, nobody's getting naked or anything, but you might as well be, because it's just that good. Like, you're just enjoying the conversation. You're pulling it into you. Something you love, someone you love is also trying to maybe nurture you. This area is incredibly magnetic. You're easy to receive in relationships. So truly, if you've been having challenge in relationships, Scorpio, these eclipses have been no joke, right? So if you've been having challenge in relationship, you want Venus to come and lay a little salve down here, make it a little bit easier to be heard and to be received with what you're doing. Venus can definitely bring change. On a whole other practical level, because I am a Taurus, Venus can bring money from relationships or money into relationships. One of the most primary things I think of, this is just an example, so apply it where you can, but let's say that you spent the last 19 years, 18, 19 years, Scorpio, paying child support, and now you're done paying child support in a formal way. So you're out of that contract. So that money is maybe back and you're deciding what to do with that in your relationship long term, right? This is one example of how these transits can express themselves, okay? When we get to the 19th, we're going to start to herald in this Aries energy. So on the 19th, Mercury moves into Aries. On the 20th, the Sun moves into Aries. And on the 21st, we've got a new moon at 0 degrees of Aries. So it is all fresh start. All new season, new energy, fresh start. And I invite you to plant your seeds of intention here to freshen up. Freshen up, my friend, these daily routines, your health, your wellness, your long-term planning, your freelance work. You know, how do you care and interact for someone else? This is a very pioneering energy, but it's also an energy, Scorpio, where, you know, it's Aries. You're going to make a decision. You're going to have a conversation. You're going to be direct. You start to remove a lot of the mystery and complication from what's going on in your life by picking a direction and going towards it. So I would ask you, you know, what kind of conversations do you need to have in your daily routine? Do you need to make those long-term negotiations, plans, sign contracts, any of these kinds of things in that 6th house? Are you launching a business? Are you being a freelancer? You're looking to make things more authentic to how you express things. This would be a great way to look at this particular energy, okay? On the 23rd now, we've got one of your ruling planets, Pluto, moving into the space of Aquarius, and we're just getting a sneak peek of this from March until June, and then we'll see some retrograde, and we're going to be here with Pluto for a very long time, okay? We're going to be seeing it in this Aquarian influence really until 2043? So we've got some time in terms of looking at a full retrograde coming back in, all of this, the full cycle. We'll discuss that in the Patreon group. But for now, what I want you to know is this is signaling that there are some changes that need to happen in your domestic zone, and they might be quite radical in terms of family relations, real estate, you know, home, family, real estate, property. Maybe there's behaviors, actions, ideas, ideals that are not working out anymore. What's changing in your living situation that it is like, you know, if the universe is trying to pull it apart, maybe understand that the universe is trying to remove you from something that you're trying to stand in the way and keep it together, right? There's there's a lot of change that comes with it, but also just like in the other example of, you know, child support or something else that you're being released from, does this change your financial situation and thus it changes your housing situation? You know, I would also be paying attention to with Pluto's vibration because it impacts the entire global family, changes in our society. Is something coming up with your parents now, not you as a parent or you as a child, but your parents, that influence is coming back into you, okay? And you're needing to work on that. You're needing to work that out. There's some individuation that comes with this, but whatever it is, it can be really, really intense because whatever is here has to die off so that the next thing can live. All right, on the 25th, we see your other ruling planet, Mars, moving into the energy of Cancer, 7 months in this Gemini energy, moving forward, moving backwards, moving forward, now into Cancer. So here's the vision I would love for you to hold as to how you work with this. Because as we get to the 25th, Mars is like pumped to be ready to move forward, right? To getting on, okay? But Mars has been vibrating like this really hot lava rock, right? What happens if you drop a really hot rock into a bucket of water? Cancer. It's going to heat that water up. It's going to start boiling, but it's also going to create this steam, the condensation, the evaporation, all the science, okay? And it's going to slow you down a little bit, but purify your motives, purify what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it. Now, this is in your 9th house space: publishing, marketing, broadcasting, international travel, international connections. This can also be a space here in this Cancerian energy where I just really wonder, is there something advancing about your home? Are you buying it? Are you selling it? Are you becoming a real estate agent? Are you going back to school? What is your connection, Scorpio, to higher education, training, these kinds of things? Because you ultimately become available to take action on that. But it is like all of those months that Mars has been working. Now it's kind of like they get lit up like kerosene, and they're going to go. They are going to move forward, but being tempered by this movement forward in water, I think is really quite helpful to make sure that all of the power in this period is used and pointed in a really specific direction that allows you to make really nice strides in your foundations, okay? All right, my absolutely beautiful Scorpio friends, I look forward to connecting with you in the Patreon community. I always look forward to connecting with you here. Get your gift in the description box down below. Get those foundations underneath you. Clear, concise, fun class. You'll enjoy it. And I look forward to seeing you next month. Bye, my Scorpio friends.